Hello, everyone. I am here with Kirstin. Did I say that right?
Kirstin.
Kirstin. Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4, and they keep me pretty busy. I have an 18-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And my 2-year-old has apert syndrome. So basically my day consists of just my kids.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. And 2-year-old is Flynn?
Yes, Flynn.
Very cool. And with Flynn, did you know that he would have apert syndrome before he was born, or was it a surprise at birth?
We knew that something was up. I was being monitored closely due to a previous issue with a pregnancy prior to Flynn. So we knew that something was going on based on his first anatomy scan. They could never find his hands. They kept saying that he didn't have hands or he didn't have fingers, but they were never able to actually get a good picture of it. And then it went to that he may have had an irregular sized head. And they thought that there may have been premature closing of the sutures, but they weren't sure. So I went to a lot of specialists beforehand, and they decided to have the NICU in the hospital room upon delivery. There was like 12 nurses and doctors in the room. It was packed. So once he was born, we knew for sure.
And what type of syndactyly did he have?
He had the level 2. So these fingers were fused
The
and
mittens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're like this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but we don't think that we'll go any further with surgeries on his hands. His surgeon seems to think that if she ended up separating the 2 middle ones, that it would render the fingers useless in the future. So we're going to leave that up to him when he gets older. And if he wants to do it, we will certainly do it with him.
I like that. We left that option open for Emma with her toes.
Yeah.
Because, her toes, she's walking fine. Her shoes are fine. And so we're just kind of leaving that up to her later on in the future. But I will say, we had all the releases, and she has all 10 of her fingers, but she still occasionally uses these as one unit.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like muscle memory. It must be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because I'll catch her every now and then, and she does it on both hands, but every now and then she'll just be doing this.
I love that.
So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from on the keeping it like this. So, because even when they're separated, sometimes they do still use them.
Yeah. And he's doing pretty well with just having what he has now. So, but I do miss those original mitted hands. They were the cutest thing I've ever seen.
And I bought the kit to do the whole thing pre-surgery, and I ran out of time. So I didn't get to do the casting.
Oh, that stinks.
Yes, I didn't get to do the casting, but I have the pictures. So
the pictures are perfect though.
So I did notice that he has a trach and that he has a G-tube.
He does. He has severe. We were meeting with his EN. Okay. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
Okay, Lucy, you need to wait. I'm sorry. So he had his doctor. He was with his doctor, and she noticed that he was having fits of obstructive apnea during his waking hours during our meetings with her. So she scheduled a sleep study, and we found that he had severe obstructive sleep apnea. He was having, on average, it was about 22 episodes per hour where he would stop breathing because of his nose. So we really didn't have much of an option in that case to kind of just, there's no CPAP for a baby. So we had to go through the trach route, and it was amazing after he got his trach how much he just started developing, because his body was working so hard just at breathing.
Yes.
And it was just leaps and bounds after that. And he got the G tube prior to the trach. He was a lot younger because he had failure to thrive,
Yes.
and it was all directly correlated with how much he was working at breathing. And he couldn't finish a full bottle because he was working so hard breathing, he would just fall asleep.
That's what happened to Emma.
Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah, but the G tube and the trach saved his life, and as much
It was.
yeah, as
We
much as
fought
we
it.
don't want it. Yeah, I know, and as much as I didn't want it, he's doing so much better now because of it.
Does he speak over his trach or make noises over his
Yes,
trach?
he does. Yeah. We don't put the little cap on at all. He every word he says through his trach, over his trach, and
I
he's
love that.
starting to develop a vocabulary, and every time he says a new word, it's just amazing.
It is. It truly is, because we were told when it came time to get Emma her trach that she was probably going to lose her voice, and she wasn't going to be able to speak over it. And she's never had an issue with it. And so that very first time when we heard her make the sound, it was like, did she do that? And then she did it again. And it's exciting. Every word is
the sweetest
exciting.
sound ever. Yeah.
It is.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree.
It is beautiful. So how old was he when he got his trach and his G tube?
He got his G tube around, before, I want to say probably around 9 months old. And then his trach he got about, let's say, I want to say he was about a year old. No, my timing is very off. He's had so many surgeries.
It all blurs together.
It really does. And plus with the pandemic and everything, that makes time just kind of flow together.
How many surgeries has he had?
He's been put out a lot. I don't know the actual count. We tend to like group all of his surgeries into the same time that he's put under, so that way he's not put under multiple times. We try to keep it down as much as possible. But he had a suture release first. That was after his G tube. He had the suture release, and at the same time, they drained some fluid from his brain, because he does have a shunt now.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then we did the frontal lobe advancement, orbital advancement, and that was surprisingly the easiest one out of them all.
Really?
But it was the scariest. Yeah, it was by far the scariest to me. But he's had that done. He's had his hands done, and his shunt. So we've had quite a few procedures in between, like when they tried to open up his nose, and so many.
With his shunt, I want to ask you about his shunt, because Emma has a shunt as well. She has all the same things that Flynn has.
Okay.
So with his shunt, is it the VP shunt that's programmable?
Yes, I'm sorry. A phone call just came through, so I missed your question. Sorry.
That's okay. Is his shunt the programmable one?
Yeah, with the magnet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so cool how they do that. And it literally takes
know.
them 30 seconds and it's done.
I know.
Have they